This is a press conference in support of our press release on lifting restrictions on H1N1 vaccine. I'm Greg Wilkinson, Public Information Officer. Our speakers today include Dr. Joe McLaughlin, M-c, capital L-A-U-G-H-L-I-N. He is the state epidemiologist. And Laurel Wood, L-A-U-R-E-L-W-O-O-D. And she is our immunization program manager. So, who just joined us, please?
Somebody signed off.
They didn't sign off. Yeah? Guess they weren't impressed, huh? Okay. All right, so we'll get things rolling with Dr. McLaughlin.
Sure.
And we'll take questions. We'll open the floor for questions at the end.
Okay. So I am going to go ahead and provide folks with a little information about what's. Can you hear me okay?
Tell you what, let's
I can hear you, but I can't hear Dr. McLaughlin.
let's move the mothership there as close to this end of the table as we can. And
Greg, do we want
put the mic right up top. There we go.
We want to reserve questions until both Laurel and I have spoken.
Yeah, let's reserve questions until both Dr. McLaughlin and Laurel have presented.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and provide everyone with a little background information on what's happening nationally as well as in Alaska in terms of influenza infection. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is estimating that over 20 million Americans have been infected with 2009 H1N1 influenza, and over 100,000 have been hospitalized, and several thousand have died from 2009 H1N1 influenza infection. National surveillance reports indicate that the incidence of H1N1 infection appears to be decreasing. During the week of November 15th, the number of states reporting widespread influenza activity decreased from 43 to 32. The reported number of visits to doctors for influenza-like illness declined somewhat, and reported flu-related hospitalizations and deaths have declined slightly. Nationally, laboratory surveillance data indicate that 2009 H1N1 virus continues to be the predominant strain that is circulating, and it's causing 99% of influenza infections nationally. In Alaska, 367 persons were reported to have been hospitalized for pneumonia and influenza since September. Since the beginning of the pandemic, 10 Alaskans are known to have died from the disease. In Alaska, the general trends in surveillance data also indicate that the incidence of H1N1 infection appears to be on the decline. Reported visits to doctors for influenza-like illness have generally declined over the past several weeks, and reported hospitalization rates decreased during the week of November 21st as compared with previous weeks this fall. It's important to note, however, that all of our influenza surveillance indicators are still very high compared to what is expected for this time of the year. Alaska laboratory surveillance data also indicate that 99% of influenza infections that are occurring in Alaska are being caused by H1N1. Finally, I think it's very important for folks to realize that although we are seeing a decline both nationally and in Alaska in terms of influenza cases, there is the very real possibility that there will be a third wave of this disease, and incidence may begin to increase again at some point. It could be the month of December, it could even be January or February. I think I'll go ahead and turn it over to Laurel.